I know who wears the trousers in your relationship to anyone. Hey, you sure? You've been all the way, you'll be kicking yourself tonight when you're having a cup of tea.
If you're a buyer, that is the stuff that you want to be buying right now because it's the best time. And to be honest,
it's generally accepted that classic car prices have been softening for a little while. But now we've got the general election out of the way, the new government's first budget, are things starting to improve? Well, here we are at the SWVA autumn sale to see if we can get a feel of what's happening. And they've got some cracking cars. This Mercedes here is expected to do well. And of course, a BMW E30 is always popular. So we're going to take a look at some cars a little bit closer up and see how they get on when they go to auction. I think these are a cracking little classic. These X19s, and this one is not a Fiat, it's a Bertone because it's a 1986 and the later models were built by Bertone but still obviously had the Fiat engine. And I think they're really pretty little cars. Could argue maybe slightly baby Ferrari, might be being a little optimistic. This one though, bought by the current owners in 1992 but then stored since 1994. So this one hasn't been sort of exposed to the ravages of salt and so on over the winters, and it's come to market, not started, not recommissioned or anything. Literally, it's been probably given a wipe over and away. Apparently the engine turned, so it's all ready to go in that respect, so it does need a good recommission, and guided at just 1,500 to 2.5, I think this will sell really well because the vendor says there's no rust to worry about underneath. And looking around it, all those little sort of bubbles in the corner you normally expect, I'm not finding them. So let's see how it gets on.
4 on commission, 2.4, 2.4. I've got on commission at 2.4. Take 100 at 2.4. 2.6 online, then I'll take at 2.6. I've got 2.7 on my commission at 2.7. At 2.7, 2.8 online, 2.850 on my commission. 2.9 in the hall. Still taking 100 at 2.9. That puts the sold ticket on at £2,900. 2.950 online. At 2.950. £3,000 in the hall. At £3,000. At £3,000. The bid's in the hall at £3,000. 3,050 online. 3,050. 3.1 in the hall at 3.1. The bid's in the hall at 3.1. 3.1. 3.1. It's in the hall at 3.1. I'll take another 50 to go on online at 3.1 in the hall there. 3.150 online. 3.2 in the hall. 3.2. 3.2. Bids in the hall at 3.2. 3.2, it's in the hall at 3.2 then for the first, and 3.2 in the hall then for the second. The hammer's up. 3.2 in the hall, number 54, thank you.
How about this for a time warp special? A 1976 Mark II Escort 1300L. It is absolutely glorious for 2 reasons. One, it was Z-barred from new, and the other one is it's only done 10,594 miles. And it shows it all the way through. It's only had 2 owners from new, and they're sort of both same family members. Where are you going to find another one? This is absolutely glorious. I just hope whoever buys it looks after it as it is, because the danger with obviously these Mark II Escorts is the rally boys get hold of them and then they go off for a different life. So I hope this one gets preserved and loved and kept exactly as it is. It's estimated £8,000 to £10,000. I think it should easily do that. I could be wrong, but let's find out.
7.7, fresh bidder. 7.7, 7.8, 7.8, 7.8, 7.8 in the hall. 7.9, 7.9, £8,000 back, £8,000 back, £8,000 back. The bid's in the hall now at £8,000 back. 8.1 online, 8.1 online, 8.1 online. Do you want 8.2 in the hall, sir? At 8.2 in the hall, 8.2 in the hall. 8.2 in the hall, at 8.2, 8.3 online, 8.3 online, 8.3 online, 8.4 in the hall, 8.4 in the hall, 8.4 in the hall, 8.4 in the hall, 8.5 online, 8.5 online. Hey, you sure? You've been all the way, you'll be kicking yourself tonight when you're having a cup of tea. And that's the offer, it's online at 8.5. It's going to be a provisional 8.5. Too much bangers and cash, too many listen to them because they're professionals. 8.5.
Lot 8, funnily enough, is a Bentley 8, and this is a, or described actually as a part finished project. Well, part finished. Apparently the story is it went into a body shop. It was purchased actually from this very auction house back in 2011. Went in for restoration and there was some kind of fallout or problem, and the owner retrieved the car back It has been sort of rubbed back for paint. There are some areas of rust. There's a knock on the passenger side. There's also the back window is sort of not original fitment, I don't think. It's all held in with tape. So it's not the greatest example. My instinct with it is I thought someone would probably rat rod this, rub it back, show a bit of exposed rust, maybe lower it. But I've just bumped into two guys who tell me they are determined to buy this car and restore it. They've already got someone lined up to do the bodywork, and they're planning to do event hire with it once it's restored. I think it's brave. There's no reserve on it. The unofficial guide that I've been whispered is somewhere between £500 and £1,000, which does seem like an awful lot of car for not a lot of money, but I think there's a lot of work ahead for those guys. But let's see how it gets on, and we'll see if we can find out if they actually bought it.
50, bid to the back at 1250 there, but the first £1,300 there, at £1,300. Do you want 1350? 1350 in the back. At 1350, £1,400. £1,400. In front of £1,400. Do you want 1450 in the back? 1450 there. At 1450, £1,500. £1,500. £1,500. It's in front of £1,500 there, but the first. £1,500, £1,550 in the back, £1,550, £1,600, £1,600, it's in front of £1,600 there, but the first, £1,650 in the back. Fresh bid online, but I've taken it in the hall at £1,650. It's at the back at £1,650. £1,650, it's at the back of the hall at £1,650 there, but the first, at £1,650 at the back there, for the second, the hammer is up.
Da-na-na, da-na-na. I know, I shouldn't sing. But if you want a bit of inner Sweeney, what could be better than this? It is a Granada XL, and it's come all the way from South Africa. It was imported in September 2023, so it's been here just over a year. Obviously right-hand drive. It's got the 3-litre V6 engine and automatic box, which is obviously quite common on these. I can't say I'm a fan of the colour, if I'm really honest. It's a little bit insipid for me, but it looks in really good condition, and obviously these are hard to come by now. It is guided at 4,750 to 5,750. I think it will make that money fairly easily. It hasn't got any history with it, and it's got slight oddities like these probably South African sourced mirrors. But as a base car, if you want to do a bit of work to it, I don't think you go too far wrong. Let's see how it got on.
Bounce a man, the bid there, bounce a man, 32 online, 32 online, 34 in the hall, 34 in the hall, 34 in the hall, 34. I'll take a 50 online if you want. A 3,000 more in the back, a 3,000 more in the back, 50 online, 3,450 online. That's the offer of 3,450. It's against you in the hall, at 3,450. Well, that's the offer. It's going to be a provisional, 3,450.
Frankly, Noddy is going to be furious when he discovers Big Ears has sold his car. What a fun little thing. It is in fact a 1951 Singer Roadster, and it was actually a pre-war design, and they were still knocking them out effectively after the war. Obviously it's over 70 years old, and incredibly it's actually MOT'd, which cars in the UK over 40 years old don't need to be MOT'd. So it's safe, ready to go. It's estimated £4,000 to £5,000. To be honest, it's not for me. However, let's see if someone put their hand up when it went to auction.
3.5 to start, 3.5 straight in the middle there, 3.5, 3.7, 3.9 in the middle of 3.9, at 3.9, bids in the middle of 3.9, 3.9, take 100 to 3.9, £4,000 there, in the middle of £4,000, at £4,000, taking 50s at £4,000, at 4,050 online, 4,050, 4,050, the bids online and at 4,050. Are we all done? At £4,050. Provisional bid, 4,050.
Lot 61 at first glance you may think is a Ford Escort RS Turbo. It's got the bonnet vents, it's got the wheels, it's got the body kit, but in fact it is an XR3i with those bits added. RS Turbos, of course, were virtually all in white. Famously, one of them in black was owned by Lady Diana, and that sold for £700,000, I think, last year. This one is a bit lower. It's got MOT until September 25, so it's ready to go. You can tax it, insure it, and you're away. Estimate £4,500 to £5,500. Now, I think that's pretty light, and I'm expecting it to smash through that, but let's see how it did when it went to auction.
There, in the order 2-2, 2-2, 2-4, 24, 24, 26 at the back, 26, 26, 28, 28, 28, £3,000 at the back at £3,000, £3,000, 32 there, 32, 32, 32, 34, 34 at the back at 34, 34, 36, 36, 36, 38 to the back, 38, 38, 38, 38 is at the back then at 38. And your bolts on 38, take another £100 to go on if you're quick, at 38, original bid 38.
When it comes to cars you haven't seen for a long time, Talbot Samba must be one of the most common. This 1986 example is absolutely cracking. It has done just 23,000 warranted miles, and looking around it looks like it might need one or two little bits of paint sorted out, but overall it looks really good. It was dry stored between 2008 and 2023, hence probably its condition, and then it was recommissioned. These cars are so rare because they were when Peugeot were trying to work out what they'd got when they bought the remains of Chrysler's European operation, obviously renamed it Talbot, but after a relatively short period of time just blended it into the rest of the Peugeot range. This one is guided 1800 to 2.8, and yeah, I think it'll do that. I think it'll probably be middle ground, I could be wrong, but as a starter classic for someone, I think this is absolutely brilliant. And also, if you, whatever you buy it for now, as long as you don't put daft miles on it, I think you'll end up, you know, being able to get your money back in a few years if you decided to sell it. But let's see who put their hand up when it came to auction.
£1,000, thank you, about 12, 14, 16, 18, £2,000, £2,000. Do you want 21? 21, 21, 21. Do you want 22? No? 21, 21, £2,100, the bids there are 21, 22 online, 22 online, 23 in the hall, 23 in the hall, and the offers there are 23, at 250 online, 2350 online, 2350 is online now, 2350, she's online at 2350, that's the bid.
Now, here's a chunk of BTCC history that you might be interested in. Not normally the sort of thing I'll look at, but this Astra is a bit special. It's one of just 100 made. They were built by Triple Eight Engineering, and it's dripping with goodies. It's got Oz wheels, it's got Sparco seats, rear spoiler. It reminds me of the days of Jason Plato and Ivan Muller taking chunks out of each other around Silverstone, Donington Park and so on. These are a real special car. They're one for the dedicated enthusiast. It's guided 8,750 to 9,750. It comes with just 66,000 warranted miles. It is a big chunk of money, but these are ultra rare cars, and this one certainly doesn't look like it's been abused. It's got all the right bits and it looks really good. So let's see if it made that money when it went to auction.
250 in the hall at 6.5 on the commission. At 6.5. At 6.5, the bid's on commission 6.5, 750 online, 6,750, £7,000 on my commission. At £7,000, at £7,000 on my commission, 7,250 online, 7.5 on commission, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7,750 online, 7,750 online, 7,850, 7,850, 7,850 on my commission, 7,850, 7,850. Well, that's the bid there, 7,850. And your box on 7,850. Well, that's the bid there. That's 7,850.
Here we go, on 58.
This Mercedes is really outside of my comfort zone, but it was too nice not to feature. It's a 1973 230e and has done, from new, just 35,000 miles, backed up by MOTs. You look inside, it is just glorious all over. I can't, you know, you won't find better than this, I believe, and it's one family owned. You find another one. It's estimated at £5,500 to £6,500. Now, personally, I haven't got great knowledge of these cars, but that seems very cheap to me for what is a really nice bit of heavyweight German metal. But let's see who actually got on.
12,000 must be the die at 12,000 in the hall, 12,500 there, 12,500, 13,000. I assume you're bidding because you're putting, just holding it in the air. 13,500, 13,500, 14,000, 14,000, 14,500, 15,000, 15,000, 15,500 online, 16,000 there, 16,000, 16,500, 16,500, you've got to be quicker, sir, 16,500, 17,000, 17,500, 17,500, 18,000, 18,500, 18,500, 19,000, 19,000, 19,500, 19,500, lovely estimate, this is a 19,500, 20,000, 20,000 man, 20,000 man, 20,500 because he's got it vertical, the panel, 20,005, 20,005, 21,000, 21,000, 21,000, it's away, 21,500 on the phone, 21,500 on the phone, they're not tyre kickers in the end, 21,500, do you want 22? At 21,500 on the phone, at 21,500, do you want 22? Yes? You've been all the way? No? 21,500, Telephone's going to win it with one bid at 21,500. I'll take 250s if you want, sir. At 21,500, it's 21,750. 21,750. 21,750. I know who wears the trousers in your relationship. 21,750. 21,750. You want 22 on the phone? 22 on the phone. 22 on the phone. She's shaking her head, so he's definitely not bidding at 22 on the phone. At 22 on the phone there for the first. 22 on the phone there for the second. The hammer is up. 22.
Who doesn't like a BMW 3 Series E30? Well, I certainly do like them. I had one many, many years ago and wish I'd never sold it. This one is lot 53. It's done a quite stratospheric 241,000 miles. However, obviously it's over 30 years old, so that's not sort of too much of a surprise. It's had a lot of money spent on it over the years. It's got bills totaling £23,000, and since 2020 it's had £8,000 spent on it. So it's had some love. That recent money is on paintwork, general maintenance and welding, so should be a good one. MOT has expired, so it is going to need to check over before it goes on the road, but is estimated what I think is a very conservative £3,000 to £4,000. So I think it will blow through that, but let's see what happens when it went to auction.
Either £1,000 is in, all £1,000, 1,250, 1,250, 1,500, £1,500, £1,500, 1,750, 1,750, £2,000 in all at £2,000, £2,000, 2,250 in all at 2,250, 2,500 in a hole, 2,500, at 2,500, a bit in a hole at 2,500, 2,750 in a hole at 2,750, 2,750, £3,000 in the hole at £3,000, and in all at £3,000. Take £200 bids now, 3,200. In the hall at 3,200. Do you want 3,400, sir? At 3,200. 3,200. 3,300 it is then at 3,300. 3,300. And your bolts on 3,300. We'll ring them. 3,300.
Oh, sorry, but this is my favourite. 1972 Ford Escort Mexico. It is absolutely glorious. I don't know where to start looking. Daytona yellow looks brilliant. It's got the original 1600 Kent engine under the bonnet. I'm not sure about the mini lights. For me, the original Ford pressed steel wheels I think sets this off a little bit better. Current owners had it 3 years. The previous owner did the restoration on it, and apparently the sort of experts have had a look at this car, and it is a proper Mexico. It's not, obviously, over the years a few replicas have appeared. This is the real deal. Guided 27.5 to 30,000. We know fast Fords, you can't guess it, but I think this will do it. I think someone is going to fall in love with it and they're going to pull their checkbook out and pay big. But let's see how it actually got on when it went to auction.
£20,000 on commission at £20,000, 21, senior 21, 22, 23, 23, 24 outside on senior, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 28, 500, 29, 500, £30,000. The salt ticket goes on at £30,000. It's selling away at £30,000 there for the first, £30,000 there for the second. Lovely car. I wish I could afford it. £30,000. My wife made me sell mine.
Well, I didn't think I'd ever feature a Ferrari on the channel, but hey, here one is. Admittedly, it's pretty much entry-level Ferrari territory. It's a 308 GT4 Dino model, and this is from 1980, so it's like really end of the production run. This one has been with the same owner for 34 years. So obviously somebody's loved it and enjoyed it. The paintwork looks particularly spectacular. And just over 12 months ago, it had £4,500 spent with a Ferrari specialist. Things like throttle bodies and that were replaced. So this looks a really stunning car. It's also guided at 22.5 to 25,000, which entry-level Ferrari money, that seems like quite a good deal to me. Let's see how it got on.
At 24, that 25,000 online I've got. And that puts the sold ticket on as well. At £25,000 we're selling. At £25,000, I'll take 250 bids if it helps. Telephone bidders. At 25,000, 25,250 on Joe's phone. At 25,250. You're out online at 25,250, 25,500 online. At 25,500. At 25,500, 25,750 on Joe's phone. It's against you online. At 25,750, at 25,750, at 25,750, 26,000 online, at 26,000, at 26,000, at 26,250 on Joe's phone, at 26,250, at 26,250, at 26,500 online, 26,500, 26,500 online at 26,500, 26,500. 26,500, 26,750 on Joe's phone, at 26,750, at 26,750, at hammers up, 26,750 on Joe's phone. You need to be quicker online.
Now maybe you want to find your inner hyacinth bouquet, and this could be just the car for you. It is a 1989 Rover 216 Vitesse, so this would have been top of the range. It's the SD3 model, so this is the first one that followed on from the Triumph Acclaim, and before obviously the later models like the R8 and so on. I think these, I'm not sure these have found their moment yet. This one is a particularly good example though. I don't think you'll find better at the moment. It's done 81,000 miles and that's warranted, so again, where would you find another one? Guide price wise, 1,800 to 2,800. Don't know, it might make the bottom end of that estimate. I think I'd be surprised if it goes too far. I know these, you know, probably will have their day. Don't know, I think it's a bit strong, but let's see if I was right or if I was, as usual, wrong.
At 2.6 online then at 2.650 in the hall. At 2.650, fresh bidder it is, in the hall at 2.650. At 2.650, we're getting close indeed. 2.7 online, 2.750 in the hall. 2,750, 2,750 in the hall at 2,750. Do you want 2.8 online? I can put a sold ticket on.
Wow, done.
We'll put a sold ticket on anyway, we'll sort it out later. 2.8 is then online. Sold tickets on. Do you want 50 again in the hall? At 2.850 in the hall, we're selling. At 2.850. At 2.850 bids in the hall at 2.850. I'll take 2.9 online, there it is. At 2.9. At 2.9 the bids online at 2.9 there. But a first. At 2.9 online it is there, 2.950 again, it's back. He shook his head and he's back again. At 2.950. At 2.950 it's in the hall there, but a first. Can you give me level money online? £3,000, there it is. At £3,000 the bids online there, but a first. At £3,000 online there, but a second. Hammers up. £3,000 online.
Always a bit of a controversial car, Triumph TR7. There's a lot of TR enthusiasts believe that the true Triumph stopped with the TR6, but I've always liked the old wedgies, and this one is particularly nice. It is one of the last convertibles, 1981, so right at the end of production. It's only done 54,000 miles, and that's warranted. Really nice conditions, got that really great tartan interior. Paintwork looks nice, and it's only estimated at £4,000 to £5,000, which I think is not unreasonable, because these are hardening up the price on these, but only really for the good ones, because there are, let's be honest, a few rotters. Let's see how it gets on when it goes to auction.
Please, at 36, 38 online, 38 online, £4,000 on my commission, £4,000, 42 online, 42 online, 44 on commission, 44, 4.8 on commission, 4.8, 5,000 man online at 5,000 man, stock tickets going on at 5,000 man. I take up 100 man bids now, 5,000 man, it's away now, 5,000 man there for the first, 5,000 man there for the second, hands up, 5,000 man.
Well, I'm here with Owen, the Classic Car Specialist here at SWVA, and you saw him up on the podium there selling some of the cars. I don't know, mixed bag, is that really a sort of good description of what happened there? Because there was some stuff that flew. We saw the E-Type and the Mercedes that really flew, but like this Escort here, you know, a 10,000 mile Mark II Escort with like 2 owners, same family.
Yeah.
What was this car a couple of years ago?
Well,
20,000?
Exactly that. You know, it's a special thing. It's a rarity. Something that doesn't come about that often. And like you say, you're right to say, a couple of years ago, you may well have seen £20,000 for it in the market. Obviously, you didn't get that good of a result with it today. We get to see what happens with this one.
There were some cars that I thought really surprised me, like the Roland Garros Peugeot convertible, which I think went over $5,000.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah. And I think that for me, as somebody who values them and looks at values all the time, there's no real pinpoint on what's going to make the money and what's not. You know, there's some fine examples in here of stuff that's made way over what it's realistically probably worth. The 280E that I'm sure we'll come to in a minute, that has absolutely blown its estimate away. So yeah, there's no what's the difficulty is, you've got stuff that's making either on the money or over, and you've got stuff that I think is well priced or a bit of a bargain, and it's just not going compared to what other ones are going for in the market anyway. So yeah, it's tough to read. I think that's probably the best description of it. The market is tough to read, no matter how many values you look at. One auction house, it could be somewhere, the other auction house could be somewhere else. So it is a bit of a pick and mix at the lottery at the moment.
And very much looking at sort of both sides of the fence. From the buyers, what advice would you give at the moment? Because it seems, again, as we said already, a mixed bag.
My advice to buyers would be, if you can be realistic, and if you can afford to drop reserves, we can drop estimates. And the best way to sell cars is to entice people in. The best examples of that today are the Mercedes 280E and the Jaguar E-Type. Both were priced, pretty conservatively compared to maybe what they were a few years ago or what other ones have made in the market. And the Mercedes top estimate was 6.5, went on to make 22,000. The E-Type 38,500 top estimate. They went on to make something like nearly £55,000, I think it was.
So and it sort of fits that age-old phrase, the cream rises to the top.
It does, exactly. At the end of the day, if you can price it low, right, then you've got the security of a reserve. However, if it's worth what we believe it's worth, the market will find its correct value. That's what I'm finding at the moment. Especially, if you're going to entice those people in, those people will carry it to where it's actually worth. Perhaps maybe not what you think it's worth, but to its true worth at this current time.
And the opportunities for cars, we use the baseline very much of that Mercedes, of finding something like that again is going to be quite a challenge.
Exactly. What you have to look at is, I don't think it comes down to sort of rarity or history all the time, but like that Mercedes, they very, very rarely come up in that sort of condition. So for the opportunity of that, and for the proposed price on the estimate as well, it wasn't something that people wanted to pass up on. So I think, if you've got a car similar to that, or any car for that matter, then just try and be as realistic as possible. Think of the potential end outcome rather than the price you're reserving it at or estimating it at right now, because that's it.
And from a buyer's point of view, gut instinct is, if you're looking more for what, dare I say, call a run-of-the-mill classic, and I'm sort of scanning around anything from like the BMW 3 Series, maybe, and even that Mark IV Escort RS Turbo, they seem to be a very good price at the moment.
Yeah, I think the Everyman Classic is probably what we're seeing suffer the most. Stuff like your Morris Minors, MGBs, as the list goes on. I think that's probably what we're seeing suffer the most, and that's evident today. But you're absolutely right. The run-of-the-mill stuff is the stuff that seems to be struggling. But if you're a buyer, that is the stuff that you want to be buying right now, because it's the best time. And to be honest with you, after Classic's prices inflated over COVID, it's probably come back to a more realistic, affordable level for those people that want to buy those cars. So there's wins and losses all across the board.
And for those people selling those, maybe they just need to be a little bit more realistic. Maybe you paid that in COVID.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
probably not certainly
I
worth
think
it
you have
now.
to look at if you've bought a car during that period from probably the back end of 2019 until 2022. I'd probably say that, you know, that was a very inflated market, and what you need to look at is what they're going for now, what's happening at the moment. Obviously there is the odd exception, but on the whole that is the stuff that's struggling. So if you bought a car within that period, you know, maybe just try and have a look in the mirror, you know, as some people would say, and just go, you know, look, I'm going to have to take a loss on this, because we don't know when when prices, we don't even know we're going to return to that level, let alone when. So yeah.
And we're using crystal balls here, but is it a case, realistically, we got to look back, COVID was a bit special for all of us in many ways. It was probably a price over inflation at that point, and we're now probably back where those cars.
But yeah, people had a lot more.
Cases.
People had a lot more time on their hands, money saved because they weren't going anywhere. So that people have more money to spend on classic cars and luxuries. Now at the moment, you know, we've all had to sort of tighten our belts up, and that's across the board. That's not just classic car owners. That's everybody.
So in summary, if you're a seller, don't panic. Just maybe be slightly more realistic with your expectations. And if you're a buyer, particularly for an everyday classic, probably a good time to buy.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that's a fair summary. You know, if you're a seller, don't panic, but you know, try and be as realistic as possible. If you give us a call and you've got something you want to sell, then we're willing to have that conversation with you. And if you are a buyer, then you know, I'd say keep a look on Classic Car Auctions, because there's going to be some good picks over the next few months, I imagine. So.
Brilliant. And date for the next auction?
The date for the next auction is January the 30th, 2025, and we start taking entries for that in mid-November. So if you've got a classic you want to get rid of, then please do give us a call.
Brilliant, and we'll put the contact details below. Thank you very much, Owen.
Thank you very much.
It's been a real mixed bag here today at SWVA down near Poole. Some stuff has flown, like the Mercedes, and some stuff has really struggled, like that Mark II Escort. And in between, there's a lot of, you know, everyday classics which are still, you know, struggling on price. So there's some bargains out there to be had. So I hope you found that of interest, and thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed it, please consider giving a like and even the subscribe button a click for us. Always a bit of a controversial car. It has done an incredible, oh fucking hell, 23, do it again. It's the models, because it's from, fucking hell, can't read me out writing. Right, idea what was happening then. And this one, to be honest, looks better than the one that I stripped. So